All right, this is the last example for section 6.3, and I think this is probably the only one that's a little bit tricky. So the reason I think it's tricky is I do have tangent and secant in the same problem, and I need to fix that. But there's not a straightforward identity that I can use to fix that. The only identity I can actually use is the Pythagorean identity, and I'm going to have to rearrange this in order to use it. So I am going to move this secant to the other side. So now it's this. And then in order to use my Pythagorean identity, I'm going to square both sides. So square this and square this. Squaring this is just going to give me tangent squared of 3x. Squaring this, remember, that's this 2 minus secant 3x times 2 minus secant 3x. So you're foiling or distributing or whatever you call it. So that's going to give me 4 minus 4 secant 3x plus secant squared 3x. Now right here's where I'm going to use my Pythagorean identity, and I can replace tangent squared x with secant squared 3x minus 1. And then now I can start to simplify. All right, so I have secant squared 3x on both sides. So if I were going to try to move those around, they would cancel each other out. And now I am going to, let's see, move minus 4. So I end up with negative 5 equals negative 4 secant 3x. Divide by negative 4. And that gives me 5/4 equals secant 3x. Now, right here, you would arc secant, but because this isn't on the unit circle, I'm going to have to use my calculator. So secant is the same thing as 1 over cosine. So I can flip this. So I'm going to make this 4/5 cosine 3x. And now I can arc cosine. So cosine 4/5, arc cosine of 4/5, I'm going to have to put in my calculator. So make sure that I am in radians. I am. So arc cosine of 4 divided by 5. Remember, it's going to give me one value that is, in fact, between 0 and 2 pi. So 0.6435. 0.6435 equals 3x. But I also have to add 2 pi to that. So plus 2 pi. Oh, that's too much. So I actually have to subtract 2 pi. So let me go up and grab that. So minus 2 pi. Oh, that's going to be too much too, isn't it? All right, so let's solve this one real quick. So that's divided by 3, 0.6453 divided by 3. So x equals to back up and do divided by 3. So my first answer is 0.214. I hate that every time I do that, my calculator just 0.2145. So that's my first answer. All right, so we know there's other answers because cosine, remember, it crosses like multiple times. And we also know that this has changed. This is caused a horizontal compression, which means it's actually going to cross more often than you think. So I have to find my other results. So it goes back to, this is, again, could be a little bit confusing, so don't, stay with me here. This is one of those things that I think is easier in radians. But if this is my first, remember cosine, we were looking for cosine of positive 4/5. Cosine is positive in quadrant 1. So let's say this is my first angle. And cosine is also positive in quadrant 4. So if my first result was 0.6435, then this angle is negative 0.6435, right? Now, that answer is not inside my interval. But if I add my 2 pi to that, so let's go up here and I'm going to take I'm going to make negative the first answer that I got, and that is what I'm going to add 2 pi to. Then I get, not alpha, oh, I hate alpha. And then I get my other angle that is in fact in the, so x equals 5.63968. Now, here's the catch. When I divide that by 3, because that was 3x there, then I'm going to have more angles that will actually fit. So I get x equals 1.87. And they didn't tell me how many I'm looking for, but it says I'm looking for all of the ones that fit over this interval. So with that said, I can go back to my 0.6435 and I can add 2 pi. So this, get it for the first time, right there. Oh, so I got 6.9266864, and I can divide that by 3. And that's going to be an answer because it's still below 2 pi. And you just keep doing that until you get all of the answers. So let's see, 2.309. We'll do all the positive ones first. So let me do, so it was so we did times 2 pi. Let's do it times 6 pi. That would be 2 trips around the unit circle. Divide that by 3 and see if we're still under. Okay, so this one goes over. So right now I have 2 answers that came from the positive result, the 2.145 and the 2.309. So now let's start with the negative result. So I had the 5.69368 number, and we can add 2 pi to that. So remember, actually, I'll just do it again so you can see. So remember, this was my negative answer, or the one that was in quadrant 4. And I added 2 pi to it to go all the way around and get the positive value. And that's where the 5.63968 came from. Now I want to add another 2 pi to it, so another trip around. Oh. And I get 11.9228, divide that by 3, and I get 3 points. So that is in fact still inside of my interval because 2 pi is 6.28, so 3.97. Now, if I were to take another trip around, would that work? So let's see. So here's my negative value, 2 trips around. We can add another 2 pi to it and see if we divide this by 3. I think it is 6.069. So, all right, so if you look at this one, let me see if I can write them all in orange up here. I have these answers. X equals 0.2145. And then I'm gonna try to put them in order. 1.87. It should go back and forth. 1.87. And then 2.309. And then 3.97. And then 6.069. So I think that's all your answers for this one. So that's it. I hope that that was not too confusing and that that made sense. If you have any questions, please ask. If you need me to get on a Zoom meeting with you or something and go over it with you, I absolutely can. All right. Thank you very much.